Well, time for another flea market segment, guys. And well, this is from the second of the three QVEA tractor show. That's the Qua-bog Valley Engineers Association, or is it Qua-bog Valley Engineers Association, Connecticut. Colchester, Connecticut is where they have their shows. They have 3 shows a year. They have a spring show, a summer show, and a fall show. Fall show is actually coming up. Today is August 18th. And the fall show is, I think, October. And I think the summer show was in July. So this is actually some purchases I made back in July and just haven't gotten around to showing you guys. So you saw the stuff I scored in the spring show. I really made out that I had a killer deal on a box for 20 bucks that ended up having all kinds of carbide stuff in it. Pickings were a little slimmer this time around. The summer show I didn't do as well. There was a dealer there who, I'll talk more about him later. There was a dealer there who was loaded with machinist tools and tooling and bits and whatnot. But he was priced pretty high. He does well, I guess, at the flea markets with his stuff, and he wasn't going to let stuff go dirt cheap. I was only able to make a couple of deals on a couple of things there, and quite frankly, he was very rude and abrasive, and well, he said some pretty off-color remarks too. He was just one of these guys who just wasn't brought up right. Well, anyways, back to the first item. Oh, anyways, just this little sidebar. I worked all day today outside, and we're in the middle of a New England heat wave. This is, I think, our first official heat wave of the summer. That's, I forgot if it's 3 or 4 degrees. Boy, you can tell I was in the heat. 3 or 4 consecutive days of heat over 90 degrees. I think it's something like that. But I'll tell you what's with it is the humidity. And the humidity is a killer. It's just, it feels like I'm just wearing a wet rag instead of a shirt. Alright, well anyway, so the first guy I come across, he's got his wares out on the blanket there, and I spot a couple of boxes, and I spot this box with drill bits in it. And I look and yeah, you know, it's got the usual rust issues. This one had a piece of tape on it, 24-30 seconds, or 29-30 seconds probably. And I said, you know, that bit actually looks like it's in pretty darn good shape, except for the fact that it's got all this flash rust on it. And then I noticed the holes in the bottom there, and I realized, oh, this is one of those drill bits that's made to work with coolant pumping through it. And so it's got a hollow bore on the back here, and it's got a threaded hole. It's pretty rusty, but I don't know. I'm following, even end up doing anything with that. Started looking through here and didn't see anything to get excited about, and I said to the guy, I said, you know, I said, what are you got on the drill bits? And I said, if I take the whole box, I think, or something like that. And I think he said, he said, you know, some people had already picked through it. And he says, how about $5? So I says, yeah, okay. And I said, I'll take that. And then I tried to get the box next to it for $5. So you can see what's in here is, for the most part, drill bits that have had some horrible things done to them. That's not a bad one there. I think they call this a Deming drill. I don't know. The more I look at this, the more... Oh, there we go. Got one nice Morse taper drill bit in there. Oh, and there's another one there. That one, you could see somebody ground that almost flat on the end, so I don't know if they were using that for brass maybe, or were bottoming out a hole. But I mean, I could regrind that if I wanted to. There's a couple of drill bits in here. There's $5 worth of used drills in here. So then I tried to get 2 boxes for, I think maybe he wanted a little more. I forgot exactly how we ended up coming to this, but finally, when I was gonna walk away, he let me take the other box for 10 bucks, I think. So I think I got the 2 boxes for 15. So here's the other box that he was hesitant to part with dirt cheap, and the reason why is because of these huge taps that are in here. And the irony is, I didn't really even think much about the taps. I mean, I thought, well, yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to have some of these big taps, but I don't even know if I'm going to use these. I mean, these are monster taps. This is 1 1/8. This is a Greenfield. That's a good tap. That's probably another. Oh, that's a monster there. Another Greenfield. Here's an 1 1/4 Greenfield tap. Yeah, gotta eat your Wheaties if you're gonna use that one. And this one looks a little different than the others. And it is. This is a Wiley and Russell 1 USS 8 lightning. Alright, so but what I really liked in this box was I saw some more reamers, little adjustable reamers here and there. So I got the 2 boxes for either 10 or 15 bucks for the 2. So I got some more, and there's some more taps in here, some straight reamers. This cutter was in there, which it's got a radius profile that looks like some sort of a wood cutter for some kind of a molding machine maybe. I didn't see any markings on it. Piece of tool steel. It's only ground on one end. It's tapered. So, you know, nothing to get excited about. So I asked that gentleman if I could just pay for that stuff and leave it there, and he put it in the back of his pickup truck to hold on to it for me so I could pick it up on the way out, because he was close to where the parking lot was that I was parked in, and figured I didn't want to tote those things around all day, and it's a good thing I didn't, because I did have more stuff to buy. So then I stopped at the guy with the bad attitude and all the machine shop stuff, and I went down the line and looked at a lot of stuff, and couldn't come to an agreement on prices on a lot of things. And then it's funny, I ended up walking away from there, and he was still pulling stuff out of the back of his truck, so I decided I'm going to swing back by there. So I went down like another aisle, and then I came back up and I hit this guy again. And then I went over to the side where he had all this stuff, and I spied this Starrett box. And I thought, why doesn't he have that on the table? And then I opened it up, and I realized the reason why was because it was empty. Well, almost empty. You got the micrometer wrench in there, and you've got several rods. This was a Starrett depth micrometer box. And I thought to myself, you know, I think I might have a Starrett micrometer that doesn't have a home, and I don't think I have all the rods for it. So I figured, what the heck, why not take a chance and see if he'd take $5 for this box. And he did, and I was like, I'm not going to get hurt on that. Even if I decided to sell this box tomorrow on eBay, I think I could get, well, $6 for it. But seriously though, it's interesting. I was looking at these rods, and some of them, you know, have points on them. I can't quite tell. These aren't all from the same set. It looks like these 3. Let's get this little one in here too. So these 3 look like a match to each other and just are different lengths. Although this one is barely any longer than that one. So that doesn't make much sense. And then over here we got these. That's a different rod altogether. So that's a different style, so that's probably not even part of the set. That's got a really like needle point to it. That one's got a little point to it also, so I have no idea. And that's a smaller one altogether. That's a quite a bit smaller one there, so not sure what I've got here. But I figured I'd take a chance on it for $5. So then I left Mr. Happy, and I worked my way further in and further in, going down aisle after aisle, and quite frankly finding nothing of interest. Either found things that were there but were overpriced, or found nothing. And then I came across a guy who had a big wooden tray, and it was filled with lots of mouse crap and mouse nesting material and garbage. He had admitted to me they cleaned out an old mill, and he pulled this box out with a bunch of other stuff, and what was in there were Morse taper drill bits. So I think he had $50 on the whole lot, and he kept pointing out, look out, you know, how much do you think it cost you to buy just that one drill, yada yada yada. So haggled with him, got him down to, he was down to 35. I wanted to be at 30, and at $5 I walked away. And then I went back a little later on, and it was still there. Tried again. He still didn't. He was firm. So finally, what ended up happening was near the end of the day, when I found that I really wasn't getting anything at this sale worth writing home about, I went back and I gave him his 35 for this lot of drills. So ended up getting, let's see, those are in the bottom of the box. The ones that caught my eye were these. Got 5 extra large ones here, so I'm going to take a moment and see what I've got. Now this is a Morse twist drill. This is a 1 in 17/32. This one is also a Morse. This is a 1 in 23/64. This one is a Morse. This is a 1 in 9/32. 1 in 27/64. And 1.5. That 1.5 looks like it's actually in pretty good shape as far as the drill itself goes. And there's surface rust on all of these Morse tapers, but they don't feel too bad. This one here has got a little bit of roughness there. I don't know if that's going to clean up or not. But. And then these smaller ones, this is the only straight shank of the bunch. The rest of them are all Morse taper. This is a 31/32. This is a Cleveland. 61/64 Morse. 1 inch Morse. 61/64, there's 2 of those. Morse. Another 1 inch Morse. 59/64 Morse. 59/64 Morse. So we got some duplicates here. 15/16 Morse. 15/16 Morse. 29/32 Morse. And this one looks different than the others. And now that one's going to remain a mystery because it's too rusted for me to see what the heck it is. It looks like this one may have spun. No, that doesn't make sense. Well, anyways, so I think that was worth the $35 I popped on that. So then I go back to Mr. Personality's booth, and I go back down the row again, and I spot something he must have put out after I was there the first couple times, because I didn't spot it the first time. And that's this Starrett number S167C radius gauge set. And I said, oh, radius gauge set. You know, I've been meaning to get one of these. I think I might have one, but it might be like a no-name set. I opened it up, and lo and behold, looks like it's a complete set, which is pretty cool. Not only is it a complete set, but there's actually a .015 radius gauge here, stuffed up in the top here, and that's it doesn't even have a name on it, so I don't even know where this came from. It says Progressive on it. That's been engraved in there by hand. So I don't know why, but for some reason that's shoved in here with this. But I randomly pulled out several of these and they were all Starretts, so he wanted to, his asking price was 15 bucks on this, and I didn't even barter with him, because this guy, every time you haggle with him, he got a real bad attitude. So when he said 15 bucks, I said, all right. I said, I'm not even gonna haggle with you on that. I think he still made a comment like, oh yeah, well, I don't know. But anyways, I don't think I got hurt. 15 bucks for that. But it was funny because that, I thought, the case is broken there, but it's a complete Starrett set. And it was funny because, I thought, well, it's funny how I could deal on that. And I thought this was a deal, 5 bucks, but some of the other stuff, he really valued it much higher than it was. I mean, what can I say? Or at least higher than I thought it was. But maybe he does this all the time, and maybe he knows what he can get for it at the regular flea market when he's not at this tractor show. So then I spotted this vendor who had a black machinist toolbox, an old wooden one, and it looked like it might have been oak, but it was in the black paint finish, which those don't bring anywhere near the kind of money as the big, the beautiful Gerstners do and everything. So I spotted that, and I went in there, and there was a woman there, and she was the wife, and I said, how much for the box? And she said, well, my husband was just here, he can help you in a minute. So I stood there waiting, and lo and behold, the guy comes back, and I says, how much for the box? He says, it's sold. So I stood there waiting for nothing. And I was like, oh. It's like, I think I asked just out of curiosity what he got for it, and I think he said 25 bucks, and I was like, oh geez, that was a steal. I think you had to see it. It was worth the 25 all day long. And then I was getting ready to leave, and I looked over on the table, and I spotted this magnetic indicator, and I was and I was like, it's got some surface rust on it. And I was like, but it doesn't have the cheap plastic handle on it. So I looked at it, and it's an Enco. Enco Manufacturing Company of Chicago, Illinois. And then over here it says made in Japan. So this isn't cheap Chinese import. This is a little bit better than that. Not a lot better, a little bit. But I thought, well, you know what? I got this for 5 bucks, and I'm quite happy with that for 5 bucks. So now I have 3 of these magnetic indicator stands. Well, technically 4. One is the one that you guys saw me using when I was checking the run out on the bearings for the Vernon lathe. So I think you guys saw that one already. Oh, it's right here actually. So this is the cheap Chinese one right here. Okay, magnetic based China. The label falling off, and the plastic knob that sometimes you see these with the knobs broken off, because if this takes a fall, you can almost guarantee that's going to go bye-bye. So this is a better quality than this one. It doesn't have the other rod though, but I think I've got some extra rods around here. And, the first one I ever got I think for free. This beat the hell thing. You can see where this used to have a knob on it, and where this broke off, and somebody tried welding it on or brazing it. I don't know what they did there. That's just a big old magnet now, really. And then this funky little one, I forgot where I got this one with the indicator on it, but this is kind of a neat little one. But yeah, so this Enco, which is not top of the line, is now my best indicator stand. And I like about the magnetic indicator stands is I can put them in my shop cabinet and hang them from the ceiling of the shop cabinet. They kind of just hang out like bats in a cave.